Okay, this would be part, I don't know, it was the next intersection. Okay. So it wasn't right behind the black building, but it was 2 intersections over. Here it is. Chase. Yes. Alright, just gotta find the parking lot here. This is a one-way street, so I can't turn here. But I can turn here. Yep, one-way street left. All right. I could probably park here. Okay, that wasn't an entrance, that was an exit. Oh. Oh my God, it's cute little dog. Oh, look at that, hit the curb. Public parking. So I guess where I can park. Chase, yep. That's where I can park, I think. You gotta love downtown parking. No matter what city you are in, if you gotta drive downtown, you gotta deal with this expensive ass parking. $3 for the first hour. Amazing. $3 for parking. That is incredible. And that's just for 1 hour. And the parking lot doesn't look anyway decent, you know? Okay, I guess I gotta make this little turn here. They're forcing you to make the turn. Probably park all the way at the top, too. Well, maybe not. I'll just park here. Oh, that's reserved. That's why. There are free parking spaces because it's reserved. Darn it. What about these over here? Reserved? Of course! Reserved. All right. And if I ever do work in downtown, I'm taking the metro. I hate going downtown. The reason I didn't drive today because it would took longer on the metro. But if I ever have to work downtown and I'm on a set schedule, I'm taking metro. It's just too much trouble. traffic and parking, and it's just so much easier. It's just so much easier when you're catching a train. That's why I like trains so much, because I can see the potential of, and I know money is a big object. A lot of transit agencies cannot get their subway system or even any type of train system to be something equal to what New York has. New York has an awesome subway system, and it's only in subway, form when it's in downtown Manhattan, but then it comes above ground the rest of the way. So it's not completely a subway, but they call it the New York subway because I guess it's what people have come to use. It's like the L train. The L train is not completely elevated, and that's what the L comes from in Chicago. The word L, E-L, that's the spelling of it, E-L. The word L comes from the fact that it's elevated. Yes, a lot of it is elevated, but not every bit of it is elevated. In downtown, it's mostly elevated because it rides right above the streets. They only got two lines that runs under the street, and the rest of it runs above the street. And when it gets out into the outskirts, a lot of the times it goes at grade. At grade meaning it runs on the ground. And at certain points it goes underground, then back to at grade. And then above grade means it goes above, it's aerial, it's elevated. So I guess you can say the L train is mostly, I guess 95% of it is elevated. So I guess the L train is a good word for it. The New York subway, every single line in downtown New York is underground. So I think that's why they call it the subway. And when they expanded out to the suburbs in the early 1900s, as they expanded, it was cheaper to build it at grade or above ground than to build subway or tunnels. So that's probably why that word stuck for many years. Los Angeles has two subway systems. They have Purple Line and the Red Line, and they're about to expand one of the lines to go to UCLA from downtown LA. And that's a pretty nice subway. It's only two, but they have a lot of light rail lines, which rides above ground, and so at some portions it's above ground. And it only goes underground in the downtown areas, or if it's going under a part of the city that is too congested and they can't really fit a rail through. So LA has a really nice system, but what makes LA hard is the fact that it's so spread out. So in order to give it the same, every 5 blocks there's a rail station like New York has, it will require a hell of a lot more lines than New York has. New York, they took all that, it's not spread out. I almost drank the coffee. It's like, this is LA. Now imagine this was like a pile of dirt, okay? This is a pile of dirt, and it's only like about an inch high. You take that dirt and it becomes a mountain, right? It becomes a hill or a mountain. So New York is that right here. This is New York. This is LA. And even though New York has a lot of land, they have so many people that even if they have this much space, that mountain of dirt is up to this high. And so the metro, the MTA there in New York, all they got to do is concentrate only in the more populated areas, and they don't have as much rail to cover. That's why it appears that they have more rail. And they still do. They do have more rail than any other city in the United States. LA, they just started building their metro system in 1990. And it was the first metro system since the 70s or the 60s. It was in the 70s when they took down the very last trolley line that ran in LA. LA had a really nice system before the 70s. But up until the 70s, they took away all the trolley lines. And it was about the year I was born when the last 1973, I think it was. I was born in 1972, when the last trolley line ran. And so they stopped that, and it's been all cars and highways ever since, up until 1990, when they rebuilt one of the lines that last ran. It was the Los Angeles to Long Beach line was the last trolley line that they closed down. It's also the very first line that they brought back in 1990. So that's a cool thing. I mean, they brought back, they took away something that was tore down in 1973. It was the last line running, and they brought in something that was brought it back as the first inauguration of that type of that same right away. So that's a cool thing. I hope that LA, expands even more. It needs rail lines on almost every street, but it is expensive. I mean, you're talking like billions of dollars for 1 mile of underground tunnels. You're talking about $1 billion for 10 miles to anywhere between 10 and 20 miles, and you're talking about $1 billion for 10 miles of above grade built. So I mean, it's really hard to build a rail system when you're dealing with billions of dollars and they don't have that much in the first place. So, and plus, things are getting more expensive. Every single year, stuff gets more expensive. So even if they have a 30-year plan to build a bunch of rail lines, 10 years from now, that plan has to be altered because the budget is lower than what they expected 10 years ago. So it fluctuates because the prices go up. They have to get more money. And in Austin, they only have one rail line, and it's considered a commuter train. It's not really considered a local rail system like what you see in San Francisco, Washington D.C. and stuff like that. It's considered a commuter train. It doesn't have overhead electric. It shares the same right of way as the freights. And I know San Diego has a rapid transit system, rail system that shares the same as the freights, but they built it to ensure that there's two tracks on both sides, and it can run anywhere between 15 minutes and 30 minutes apart. Every 15 minutes, and sometimes they can run it every 6 minutes. And they work with the freight companies to make sure that those tracks are free for the San Diego trolley. And it's not running; it doesn't run 24 hours. So at night, the trolley stop running. The freights will run at that point. But so San Diego is, as far as I know. I mean, I don't know every single transit system out there, but San Diego is the only place where I know they where they share the same freight along with public rapid systems. Also doesn't have a public rapid transit system. They only have a public commuter train system. So it's not really the same. I got to get in here and I'm trying to finish this coffee real quick. Coffee looks good. That's some good coffee. Make sure to get my ticket validated.